It's James. Sorry I'm a day late, as I just had some technical problems the two times I tried to record today's Ask the Doctor. So, yeah. I got 5 questions in. They came in very late, but, five questions. And, we'll start doing a show right now. With the old book of questions. Got 5 questions, so let's start. Rob B asks, what is the cheesiest band ever formed? For my money, at least the most successful cheesy band was probably Kiss. I mean, think about it. Basically, the whole setup is they're more or less 4 comic book characters technically. If you have the Demon, you have the Cat, you have Space Ace, and you have Starbuck Child. And basically, it's just when you watch a show, it's more of a giant pyrotechnic thing and technically an adventure, I guess. And if you really think about the songs, most of them aren't serious subjects per se. When you have like something about the love gun, obviously, you have Rock and Roll All Night, Party Every Day, Christine 16 of all things, about an older man going after a high school girl and whatever. Just for some reason I find that Kiss to be the cheesiest band ever formed. I know it's popular, but cheese is cheese, I think. Question 2 is from Jason M. What was my favorite show during my childhood? Probably the A-Team, I would think. Either the A-Team or Knight Rider. But there's so many different times during my childhood. Like when I was very young, it was Dukes of Hazzard. Excuse me. When I got around 10 years old, it was definitely the A-Team and Knight Rider. And then when I got into my teens, it was probably Sledgehammer. So, yeah, basically, I'm going to go with the A-Team for this one. Jason had a friend named Raymond K. who asked a question through him. I'll answer. And if you have a friend that wants to answer a question, I don't know him, just, ask him for me, give me the name, I'll answer a question for him. So, Ray K asks, do I think Marvel-themed restaurants would work, and would I go? Theme restaurants are kind of dying out. They were big in the 1990s and somewhat in the 2000s, but it's just, it's slow. It's a slow progression. I mean, you don't really hear anything anymore. They don't really set up anything anymore. It's more people just want to go out. Want to go out. Say your former Kahunavilles, where it was like a jungle setting, or your Planet Hollywood, where it's basically movie props, and people just want to go out now just for comfort food and to eat. But that being said, I would go to a Marvel themed restaurant, as long as they have like the movie props, maybe some comic books, history or whatever. Yeah, it would sound like fun. They did have a few in the 1990s in the old Universal Studios, where if you want to look it up, and I think it was called Marvel Mania or something, I think, but I know Universal Studios had a couple of set up that, probably went under as time went, but yeah, it seems like an interesting idea. I would probably go if there was a resurgence in theme restaurants and they set a Marvel one up. John W. asks, what do I think of the Star Wars standalone movies? As long as there's a story to tell, I have no problem seeing a movie. I have no problem. I'm kind of a champion for the standalone movies because I want to find out more about the characters I love. But as long as there's something to tell about them, I mean, not just like Han Solo was like a bean farmer somewhere or something, or Yoda was like an arm wrestling champion on his home planet or something. Just as long as there's a story to tell us, an interesting story about how they got to where they were or wherever, or maybe even some kind of an adventure that not necessarily has anything to do with the story of the Star Wars story in general, but something that's important to the character and change their mindset or something. That kind of thing would work for me. Because think about this. I mean, if you just had, say, Iron Man movies in the Marvel Universe and the Avenger movies, you wouldn't find out it's about, say, Captain America or Thor or the other people that, whose movies you might like. So, I'm all for Star Wars standalone movies. Last question. Davell asks, what are my thoughts of the Dukes of Hazzard being taken off the air because of the stars and bars on top of the General Lee? So this is a very hot subject. It really is. Because you obviously have the population that sees the stars and bars for what it is. It is a symbol of hate. Let's just get to the chase. It's basically when you have a guy who goes and kills people and hides behind it as a shield, or you have these people, you have people that go specifically to a certain area with the flag flowing in the wind as a shield to say, yeah, this is how I feel about you, what are you going to do about it? It can be a problematic thing. I mean, I can understand why they take it off the air, but that being said, it's not like Hogan's Hero was ever taken off the air because of the Nazi flag and the Nazis being represented as freaking dimwits. And if you think about it, it's not, the whole Confederate Southern thing's never an issue in Dukes of Hazzard. It's just a decoration on top of the car. It's not like they say anything about Southern pride or anything that had to do with whatever. It's just on top of the car and there, and basically has nothing to do with the plot of the story, and it's never ever brought up as an item. So I wouldn't say it's a big deal, but it's not forced down your throat or anything in a show. So maybe they jumped the gun on pulling it off the air. Who knows? Yeah, those are my questions for the week. So thank you guys. This is a rush job, so I'm not gonna do some heavy editing. So because I had a few problems yesterday. So thanks for watching, and maybe we'll answer some more questions next week.